Anthropic, the company behind the AI model Claude, has reached a $1.5 billion copyright settlement with authors, George. This is reported by NPR and others. And plaintiffs allege that the company trained models on pirated books, and they're going to be compensating authors of up to or above $3,000 for up to 500,000 works. So, George, this is really a big question for the laws around fair use, specifically noting that training on legally obtained books is permissible, but pirated bootleg copies certainly are not. And the settlement creates a precedent for AI firms to license data, signaling a shift towards a more sustainable solution, towards just stealing it, kind of like was that thing like break everything and then ask for permission later, right? Probably not a good way to run a what is Anthropic now, an $87 billion company, something like that. Anyway, this is interesting, George, because I think this is the beginning of the maturation of how this is going to work. These companies are not going to get away with stealing copyrighted content anymore, but it looks like there will be some kind of an infrastructure for licensing. And George, also worth noting that in other A9 news, Otter.ai, a recording translation program that you can attach to Zoom and Microsoft Teams, etc., is the recipient, or being sued rather, in a class action move in which the company is accused of deceptively and surreptitiously recording private conversations to then train its popular transcription service, which I think violates just real laws. that sounds very illegal. So just kind of calling that out as well, George.
Yeah, it's a little complex because Otter's privacy policy technically does say that it's like, we're going to use these transcriptions to train users. And again, this is under the category of, if you don't pay for the product, you are the product. The weird thing, though, that effectively happens, though, is the main person, like the owner of that Otter AI that invites it to the meeting, that permissions the trickle down there, is a little fuzzy because everyone in that meeting is suddenly subject to that type of very sort of aggressive privacy policy in there without full awareness and disclosure of that, which is, I think, a little bit of the genesis of that, in addition to the fact of like some of its recording tactics are talked here as being a bit sneaky, and how it is both recording and then profiting from it. So again, if you don't pay for that AI tool, you are the tool, you are the product, your data are getting used. The point of the Anthropic, this is probably going to set the tone for a lot of other lawsuits that are about to be probably mediated, in terms of like, if you trained on content that you didn't pay for, you have to pay for it. However, the big upside for these AI companies is that it's the establishment of fair use of things that you have purchased to train an AI model, which I think is pretty freaking massive when you really open that up. And also just sort of putting out there, like, anything that you have out there, all of your documents, your reports, anything that was publicly accessible and pulled in, is all fair game, fair use if it was acquired by an AI under whatever rules or regs or copyright rules that you have there. Maybe if it's this, like, we're going to open it up so like donors can get access to this, that was probably crawled and put in there. So in the back of your mind, realize that there's no sort of like, oh, and then we'll be able to pull it back. It is absolutely in there if it was acquired by fair use, which I think is interesting. Also has a lot of implications as you begin to roll into territories like music, for instance, and things that have been trained in there. And did you LimeWire all of your music there, or did you actually pay for it? And I think there are a number of companies that rhyme with pony that may be very, very interested in things like that.
Yeah, George, I've never once ever downloaded music legally.
Never have I ever?
That on public record. Never have I ever.
Even though the statute of limitations may have passed, you're going to keep it clear. Okay. Wait, so is
Listen,
that a
we're
generational thing between us? Like my generation grew up just sort of like seeing how many CDs that they could burn.
I don't want to admit to anything
You can speak to broadly
dubious.
your generation. Was somebody maybe in your
I think our generation didn't need to download as much because we had YouTube, right? YouTube was our MP3 player of 2008. Um, but for things like school projects, when you need that Mumford and Sons song and your like video montage, right? Like
I mean, it really ties
got
the
to do what
whole
you got to
outfit
do.
together. Yeah. Ties the room together.
Yeah,
Heck of a
ties
rug.
the room together.
All
Oh
right, Nick.
gosh.